So what do you got? One blunder and one inaccuracy. That's pretty good.
0 missed wins. 1 mistake, 1 blunder. Okay.
We won't analyze this one. So we can go back to a new, if you want to try a harder opponent, or actually we should probably try the same opponent just at a higher challenge.
So what do I do?
I would just go over to play
Here?
again. Yeah, just click on that one, and then click computer, and then go to the same duder.
This guy?
Yeah. And then click the 3 crown. Yeah, so no, just click his portrait, click choose, and then click the 3 crown.
Custom or challenge?
Challenge. And now because you're white, you get to start.
Oh.
So it's I don't think it's ever a bad option to start queen's pawn.
What?
Just reading the comments.
Oh. Right.
What did it say about his move?
English defense.
Oh. I don't know anything about those, so I don't know if that means they move the bishop out next or what. You could like move your C pawn forward 1, maybe.
Yeah, Isabel, I agree.
Yeah, free up your bishop. Nope.
Here?
No. Sorry, free up your F bishop. So move one of the pawns that's blocking your F bishop. The pawn directly in front of your bishop is not blocking your F bishop because your bishops do not move forward.
I know they don't move forward. They move diagonally on the color that they're on.
Correct. Boy, the computer's going to hate that move, though. That's funny.
Diva, are we playing WoW or Deep Rock today?
Oh, I don't care. We'll see what other folks are doing. I'd be down for Deep Rock.
Yeah, we have stuff to do today, sir.
Me. Setting up your exercise bike?
Yes, that is priority. We will be doing that.
I think that'll take about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is usually the point, as noted by him, where you start moving your knights out.
Should I mirror or B or G knight?
I would use your G knight, but I wouldn't put it in the H file. So the only unfortunate part about moving your pawn 2 spaces is it didn't really free up your bishop. Because you sort of blocked your bishop from being able to do anything.
Right on. Right.
It's a weird defense. I mean, let's move your other knight, I guess.
E2 to G4 will put his knight in danger. 2. What? E2 is my pawn, right?
Yeah.
To G4?
Do you mean the F pawn or the F knight? The F3 knight?
What? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Well, because E2 is a pawn.
Yeah, he can only move this way.
Did you mean E2 to E4? That doesn't really put his knight into anything. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it gives you a little more defense up there. It's not a bad idea.
E2.
Oh, because it puts his knight in danger from your bishop. That's what he wants. That's actually a really good move. I don't know that I'd move it to e4. I'd move it to e3 just to back up that other pawn. But it's
What
a good
am I
move.
moving?
So, did you listen to what I just said?
Yes.
So moving your e-file pawn frees up your f-file bishop.
Right. But I should
And
only
gives
move
it a
him.
direct. Hold on.
Ah.
Gives him a direct line to his knight, right?
Mm-hmm. Right on.
But I would suggest not moving it to e4 because that sort of leaves him out there and exposed. I would suggest moving him to e3 so that he's back at the
What I was
f-file
gonna
pawn.
do.
Yeah.
Before you went yapping on.
The only downside to that is that you're trading a bishop for a knight because then he's just going to move his bishop, which isn't a bad trade.
Excuse me. What am I moving?
Although now I wouldn't do that. Well,
I'm gonna just take his knight.
I would still do that.
Take his knight?
I don't know, because now he just put a pawn out in the middle of nowhere with no protection that's being threatened by your knight. And technically, his knight is still under protection, so you get a free pawn out of this. I think that's a better move.
So
I think the free pawn is more valuable than.
well, maybe what if he's
trade.
using what if he's using the pawn as a diversion?
For what?
I don't know.
Good talk.
Oh, why did he move his bishop out there?
Also an interesting move. Not a move I would have done. I mean, you take it.
The queen might take the knight.
The queen might take the knight. So it's another trade unless you want to move.
My bishop should take his knight.
Do you still lose your other knight, though?
This knight or this knight?
Well, who would take that knight?
Which knight?
The one you're pointing at.
This one?
Who takes that one?
The B1?
Yep.
I don't know. His knight? No, his knight's all the way up there.
Yeah, the answer is nobody, so don't worry about that knight. So we're talking about the other knight.
Talk about your butt.
So your knight is being threatened by his queen. His knight is being threatened by your bishop. His other bishop is being threatened by a pawn. So there's a couple of options. You could move your knight to save the knight, and then try to take his bishop next turn. You could take his knight with your bishop and hope that he doesn't take your knight. In either of those, in the second scenario, you're going to lose your bishop or your knight.
So what if I move my knight here?
You would get instantly taken by the two pawns that are guarding that position.
Oh, right, dumb. I knew that. I saw that. Just making sure you saw it.
So I think the safer move is moving the knight.
Back?
Yeah. But not back too far, because there's a position you can move the knight that also threatens his bishop.
Oh, it would be e4.
It would be e4.
But he moved the pawn to guard it? I thought the pawn can... Well, yeah, because then this pawn... I take his stupid whatever head.
I would do that. A weird one. Because then I'm assuming... What?
He's moving all his pawns out.
Why did he do that? You get a free bishop.
Right?
Why would you do that? Yep.
Well, because then won't his queen take my bishop?
Probably. But then you got a knight and a bishop for one bishop. That's a pretty good trade.
And he didn't do it.
Oh my god.
What's going on?
Just go. Keep going.
What do I do?
Eat up his pieces.
How?
Free moves. Well, you have a piece in his back line. At this point, it's a sacrificial piece. You're just eating as many of his pieces as possible.
So I should take this pawn? Because there aren't any other pieces I can take.
Yeah.
Bishop rampage?
I would take his pawn. You could theoretically move him back to like b7 and hope he doesn't move his rook, but I think that's wishful thinking.
Oh, right.
Because you're going to put him in check, and he's going to have to take your bishop. But that bishop took a knight, another bishop, and 2 pawns. 1 pawn? That's a pretty good value out of a piece, I think.
No.
This is a weird game already.
Right?
I would dislodge either your other bishop or your other knight from the back row. Well, that was silly.
Well,
she can't castle yet. Oh, she could castle kingside, I guess. I don't know if that helps her, though.
So I got to move my knight, right? Or this pawn is going to take it.
Which pawn?
His FA pawn.
How does his FA pawn take your knight?
Farts his A5 pawn.
How does his A5 pawn take your knight?
Well, can he move forward? Oh, he can only take on the diagonal. Damn, Becky. Farts. Oh my, Zero, what are you doing?
Eating that bone. What are you doing, Zero?
Good.
Yeah.
La 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 la. Doesn't this pawn put his? Am I wrong in thinking that?
How do pawns threaten?
Oh, right, because it would just be moving forward, so I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, you could march it back there, and if for some miracle one of his pawns didn't take it when you were on d5, you could march him up to d6, and he would be protected by your knight. I don't know why you would do that, but you could.
Fart, 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 farts.
So you do have a move with your knight that sets you up to take a pawn and split his, well, and take his rook, depending if he doesn't move his rook. It's a little bit hopeful, but...
No, I don't want to move him there.
Correct, you do not want to move him there.
Do I want to move him here?
So you want to move him in such a position that allows you to take a pawn and also sets you up to put his king in check and take his rook.
Well, then it would have to be C4.
It would have to be C4.
What did I move the bishop over there for?
Yeah, that was a strange move. So continue on with plan, take his rook.
So it would be the B6 pawn?
Yeah. So this is a fun move because you are forcing, like this is a guaranteed rook take. There's nothing he can do to stop that because you put his king in check. He has to either, oh, that was a terrible move, and he just screwed it up. That was completely my fault. I didn't even notice the queen. What he should have done was taking your knight with his queen. That was a bad move on my part.
But he didn't. He moved his king.
Yep.
So now I
can get a free rook. Yep. Okay. I think I'm going to let you just sort of play.
What are you going to do?
Watch and answer questions.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, because, okay. So he's probably just going to move his king to the back of the line again, right?
I would not assume anything.
Oh, well,
because
then he just moved his knight out here.
Yep. That was a move.
I don't want to do that. How do I castle?
You move your king 2 spaces over.
Oh, and he just switches places with my...
Yeah, so your king moves to G1 and your rook moves to F1.
And what are the benefits of that right now?
It's one of the fastest ways to get your rooks away from the corner, and it also is a fast way to move your king into a more protected space. And then you can castle on either side. Castling on the right side is known as castling king side, and castling left is known as castling queen side.
So now what am I doing?
I don't know. What are you doing?
Wait, except I'm like totally off screen for some reason. So how far can a rook move?
An infinite number of spaces as long as it's
So,
open.
But he can't because the bishop and the pawn are in the way?
Correct.
So I'm not in check.
You are not in check. You are not even remotely threatened.
Okay.
I don't know why he hasn't taken that knight. It's just sitting, like the queen should have cannibalized him 3 turns ago. And feel free to like talk out your thought
Oh,
process.
sorry. Right. I'm unfortunately left side. You have 3 pawns to 2. You can queen one of them. Right.
He's not wrong. You have a lot more open space on the left side to march some pawns forward if you wanted to.
Well, I was just trying to get my knight out of queen shot.
Yeah, no, that was a solid move, and I still don't know why he didn't take it because that seems dumb.
But so I'm just trying to. That's what my thought process is right now, is trying to get my knight, because the queen can still take my knight, correct?
Correct.
So I would like to get my knight out of that direct sight line.
Yeah.
But still free up pawns to move forward. So I was going to move my knight here.
It's a good idea.
Why is he moving his bishop back?
Also a strange move. I wonder if 200 or 250 ELO is a
what did he
little
just
too
take?
low. He took a pawn.
Oh, because he's already taken my bishop.
Yes.
That also
after your
seems
bishop,
like a weird.
rampaged in his back line.
That also seems weird to.
Well, he should have taken that pawn a long time ago, because that pawn's been undefended this whole time. But you do need to answer that.
Oh, because now I'm in check, right?
You are not in check yet.
So the only place I can move my king is h1.
No, you can move him to G2 or H1.
Well, why would I move to G2? Oh, because it doesn't matter because he can't take me then, right?
Right. But it also, if you go to G2, you have a lot more spaces to move as opposed to H1, which is a corner. You also didn't need to move the king. I'm not sure why you moved your king.
Oh.
Because really what you should have done was taken his knight with your queen.
Oh, but now he's moved the pawn there, so now the knight is guarded.
Correct.
Okay. Hey, I cannot pronounce your name with any dignity whatsoever. So thank you for your like. Well, farts. So that would be dumb. Like his knight's kind of stuck there because he can't move to F2 because then my king could take him, right?
Correct. Well, and the problem right now is that if his knight goes anywhere, you're going to be in check. Because his rook's just sitting in the G file.
Right. So
my suggestion was, because your rook is sitting in the F file, if you moved your F pawn forward to threaten his knight, he's going to have to respond somehow, and either way, it either gets the knight out of your face. Nope. Because you want to threaten the knight. And moving forward 2 does not threaten the knight.
Oh.
What was that? Was that a bishop?
No, it was.
It was
no,
your
it was
other
just.
knight.
Yeah.
Whoops. Well.
Thanks.
But now you can get to his knight. And that it also puts him in check. Not the most graceful, but
right.
So I would consider setting up a piece. So what I think your end game here should be is to take those 2 pawns on the A file and the C file with your knight. But to do that, you need to set up some protection on the A5 space.
Oh, so the queen can't take me.
Or if the queen does take you, you can take their queen.
Mm-hmm. So
like it's not so much that it can't, it's setting it up so that if they do that, you can then take it, because that's a bad trade. It's a very bad trade.
Well, if I move my B2 pawn there, he can take it with his A5 pawn.
Correct. Which does the same, which at the end of the day has the same effect that you want, which is freeing up your crap.
Just got exciting over here.
Which has the same effect of opening up your A file pawn to get to the end. Right?
Right. Is what I want.
So if he takes that pawn.
What did he do?
Oh, he took your pawn with his
rook.
Which is a little annoying.
Well, I gotta move my king.
You have to move your king. You could assault with your king.
How do I do that?
Except that might be mate too, so let's not do that.
Farts.
Oh, right. I knew there was a reason. That space is protected.
Queen
Who's protecting that space? I knew there was a reason that space was being protected. I just couldn't remember why.
Always moved his queen out.
Yep. But that leaves that pawn open, which you should. I would use your knight to take those 2 pawns. And then you can start marching your.
So this move?
A pawn forward. Yeah.
That?
Yep.
So is he setting?
That was a good move.
Is he he's setting up the queen to take the queen?
Yep.
So I can just take his queen, but then his bishop can take my queen.
Correct.
That's the only move, though, because if I don't do that, he's going to take my...
It's not quite the only move, because you can back up your queen and just leave her there.
Move king up one space?
That's also a legitimate move. I don't know that I would move the king. I would actually move either that pawn or the rook to back up your queen.
Where would...
Using your king to be aggressive is fun, but it's...
So where would... Great, so where would the rook go?
Well, what spaces can the rook help protect? If you are protecting your queen, where can he go to protect the queen?
Next to her?
Yes.
Because I don't want to put him in f3 because then the pawn would take it.
Also, he wouldn't do anything in the f or in the 3 rank.
So I want to move him here.
Yeah, because now he's protecting the queen, and you can also get some free pawns out of it, depending on what he does. And now you get some free pawns. No. Well, yeah, that works. You can do that. Although that sort of makes that pawn easy pickings. Dog, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my dog farted. That's funny. Farts are funny. Okay.
I would actually take that pawn with your knight. Because right now everyone's sort of guarded. I'm not quite sure why. I'm assuming he moved his queen down in an attempt to protect the e-pawn, but like the e-pawn's stuck. It does feel very
he
good
took my
taking
bishop.
a bigger piece.
Oh, he took the bishop with the pawn.
Oh, well, but now you can take his bishop with your knight, which also threatens his queen. Where are you going, queen?
Away, away. Should I move?
I mean, at this point, just attack his king.
Right, with my queen?
Yeah. Because this is like mate in a couple moves. See if you can keep him on the defense. I would just take the pawn with the queen.
Oh, this?
Yeah, because you're going to put him into check again. So he has to just shuffle his king around. And there are only so many places he can go.
Should I use my knight?
You can.
Or my rook?
I would use your rook. I think that's checkmate. No, it's not checkmate, because this queen can take your rook. You guys got to figure out a decent way to corner his queen. I mean, you could take that pawn now with your other rook just to get it out of there.
This?
Yeah. Because then it also protects your knight. That's a weird move. Oh.
What?
He's trying to take your rook with the queen. So you just need to back up your rook with another piece. And there's only one other piece that can do that. Well, that's not true. Your queen's guarding that piece. Or that spot. I would say move a pawn to threaten the queen. I didn't realize there's only 2 pieces left.
So my c3 pawn?
Well, maybe not. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well, because why does it say I can only move my pawn up 1?
Because he's not in his home file, or his home rank.
Right.
You could move the king up there, but the queen is already guarding that piece, so you don't really need to move the king anywhere. Just march a pawn. March your A file pawn, because your A file pawn's being guarded by that rook. I would move your queen out of the way.
back to my home row there?
I would not. I would keep him in the 5-6 area.
I wouldn't just take the queen?
You could, but then you're going to lose your queen to his king.
Right.
Not that that really matters. I mean, it could be. I would get her away from the wall. Yeah.
Why do that? Oh, to block me from marching my pawn?
Yeah, but I would just keep going. Or move your adjacent pawn up. Make your B pawn.
Well, if I move
Or
my
your
queen to the back row, doesn't that put the king in check?
Yeah, but that doesn't do anything because he's just going to move his king. So you can either so you have two options. You can try to set up mate with a king and a bishop or a king and a knight. Or you can just try to take his
E4 to D4.
queen. Or you could move your rook over one. So the whole point of trying to do a pawn march is that you get a queen out of it eventually. And 2 queens makes checkmating almost instant. Yeah, now he's just march your pawn.
It won't let me.
He put you in check.
Oh, fart, he did.
That's funny. Just block it with the other pawn, with your E pawn.
Huh?
Block it with your E pawn.
I didn't see that.
Now keep marching your pawn. Because he's sort of cornered himself. His queen is in a weird spot.
Oh.
Oh, dead queen. That's exactly what you wanted.
What do I... Oh, with my rook, right?
I don't know. Is that right? No, this is the point in the game where, like, if you had any dignity, you would resign. Just use your rook and your queen. You don't need to use any other piece.
Oh, this guy?
Sure.
Or this guy?
Sure. Just don't put a piece adjacent to the king.
So like that?
Sure. This is the point where you get to take lead and make decisions for yourself.
Why would he do that?
Because it puts it because your rooks can't attack diagonally. And so you've sort of set up your rooks now that they can't go. Well, that rook can't go anywhere except away. So I think part of this is you're way overthinking this. But I would not move your queen unless you want to lose that rook, which gives you an option to move one other piece, one other rook. Because you want to put him in check. And now you can back up that rook with your other rook if you really want to. And now he gets to play this little back and forth game because he can't take your rooks and he can't move. He's literally just got to ping pong his. Nope, I wouldn't do that. I would kill with your queen.
Should I move her here?
Doesn't matter.
Why doesn't it matter?
If you moved her to the E, the outcome was exactly the same
right.
if you moved her to the E8 or to G8.
Right, because there's no other move he can make he would win.
Correct. You could have made that mate like 3 turns earlier, but you wanted to march your rooks, which is fine.
Whatever.
It's just sort of a flex move.
You're a flex move. All right. Well, I got about 20 minutes left. It's not necessarily enough time to play another game.
Do like some speed chess.
Sure. Yeah, I should totally speed chess it out there.
We can start one real quick, and in 20 minutes we'll pick something else. Or in 20 minutes we'll just call it there. Pick a harder opponent, because both of those were pretty easy. Just click on the computer thing. It's already there.
Oh.
Like, what's the next lady?
Her?
Yeah. What's her rating?
400.
Yeah, do that.
Friendly?
That's fine. Sure. Because friendly gives you the analysis as you play.
Okay. Oh, I start, right?
Yep.
My d4 was a book move. Thanks, computer. Oh, b4 was an inaccuracy. Well, what was I supposed to do?
The computer wants you to continue the whatever that attack was, queen's pawn. Because I think the second queen's pawn move is either the c pawn to c3 or the e pawn to e3.
Mm.
I think there's also a variant that's like your e pawn to e4, but I don't know why you would do that. I'd get your knights out there. Because you have one knight move that can at least threaten a pawn. Take it easy, Aaron.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. What is the... Well, you said one move is going to threaten a mm-hmm. Somebody calling you?
St. Paul, Minnesota, baby.
What do you know in St. Paul, Minnesota?
Exactly, 0 people.
Hmm.
That's not actually true.
Oh, well, I guess I did that. There was my misclick for the day.
That's fun because it thinks it's an inaccuracy, but that's exactly what I wanted you to do.
Oh, okay. A4 is best.
So apparently I was wrong. A4? Oh, I just wanted you to move that pawn forward. Weird.
Because that bishop isn't in line right now to do anything.
No, well, it's there to protect the pawn, but I don't know why you do that with the bishop.
Right? Crambo.
I mean, you could dislodge your other knight, I guess. I don't know. You don't need to move pieces to dislodge your knight.
Oh, I just... Oh.
Excellent.
That was an excellent move.
But it really wanted you to move your bishop for some reason.
B4? Bishop to F4.
Yeah, I wanted to slide him up to the F file.
Okay. Joe Nasabe. Poop. Poop ball of fruit. So, like, I feel like at this stage of the game, I feel like this phase of the game is much more challenging.
Well, it is simply through the virtue that there's a lot more possibilities.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there's so many moves to make. It's hard to decide what's the best one.
Yeah. And a lot of the times the computer bases the best move around what opener you started with.
Bishop to... It wants me to move my bishop out. Why?
Probably just to get it out of there.
Well, now I can't move it anywhere.
No, your other bishop.
This...
So,
oh, party on. Right.
F4 is a dark square.
Right. I forget. Bishops can only move diagonally on their color square.
So the queen's pawn opening,
Yeah.
is moving your queen's pawn forward to d4, and then moving your c pawn forward to to c4.
Okay. Should I move this bishop then?
It apparently really wants you to. Yep. Why not?
I like it. Bishop to f4 is good. Queen to d3 is best.
Oh, I wanted you to push a queen now. Weird. Which you could still do, I guess. Just to get him out there.
My queen?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like that. That move is good. This move is best, even though you said last turn that that move was best.
Well, because it bases the
I
move
know.
off the previous move,
Right.
not the previous move that you made.
Farts. What's going on? Dogs. Dogs. That's what's going on. No, I can't take his knight because then his pawn can take my bishop, and that would be dumb. What about just hopping to the back line and taking this knight?
You could. I think that's weird, but I mean, you'd be trading a bishop for a knight, which isn't a bad trade, I guess.
There's no point in moving my knight because it could be taken by the pawn.
I mean, at this point, you either move a pawn or your bishop. I mean, you could scoot your queen around, I guess, but doesn't really seem to be a point to that.
Oh, I just inaccuracy, which means to move bishop to 8. Is that right? Bishop to h6? What the fart is h6? Why does
Oh, it did want you to take his knight.
Oh. Why would I do that? So then his pawn could take my bishop?
It's just a trade, yeah.
I disagree.
I think it's because bishops are a lot harder to move than knights are, and so it probably considers knights to be worth more on the board than bishops. Which probably means that it wants you to take the other knight.
And what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's a bad move, because I agree. I think knights are stronger than bishops.
Oh,
hated that.
Mistake. I knew this was going to happen. G5 is what's G5 is best.
They wanted you to move a pawn.
Oh.
Wanted you to march your pawn forward, which I think is weird, but
whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird that he didn't take my like what did he take? He took a pawn with a queen.
Yeah, he took a pawn.
Why?
Because it was there and the queen, because it's undefended.
Well, everybody else is defended. What does she plan on doing there?
So the point was just to take a pawn. Because now you're even in pieces, aren't you? Oh no, you're up in because you have a knight. So I mean, you could retreat your.
I could retreat my knight.
Your bishop. No, your knight's guarded by your queen.
Okay.
Your bishop's the one that's sort of out in la la land. So I would retreat the bishop because then it's
all the way back to h2 or
probably all the way back, yeah. Because otherwise, if you retreat it back to the F file, it's guarded.
Bishop to g3. Why would I move it right in front of the queen?
Oh, because it would have been guarded by the rook or by your pawn.
So he moved a pawn. She moved a pawn. Pawn, pawn, pawn.
I would get your knight out of there.
This knight?
Nope.
This knight.
Yep. Because if you get him out of there, then you can at least threaten her queen with a pawn.
Huh? So I've. Huh?
What are you confused about? There's really only one move that doesn't threaten your knight. Which move is that?
Well, I don't want to move it here because then the pawn can take my knight.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And if I move it over here, what is it doing if I move it here?
I don't know. What's it doing for the other 3 places or the other 2 places?
Huh?
Your knight can move 4 spots.
I know.
So what is the purpose of moving the knight to get it to be unthreatened in the other 2 spaces?
I don't know.
So if your end goal is to threaten the queen
Oh, do I move it back to
and getting it,
G1?
how is it threatened if it moves back to
Well,
G1?
how is it threatened if I move it to a G5 and the pawn can take it?
So that means it's threatened. So there are 3 of the 4 squares the knight can move that are threatened. E5 is threatened by pawns.
Yes.
G5 is threatened by pawn, the king,
Yes.
the queen. And G1 is threatened by the queen.
Right.
Which means there's one place you can move it that isn't threatened.
Up your butt.
Although it
And
didn't
it said
like
it was
that.
an inaccuracy.
It wanted you to go to E2.
See?
It wanted to E2.
Parts.
Oh, C2.
Yeah.
It wanted you to move your other knight.
Oh.
I don't know why. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
So now he just moved his rook. So now you can threaten his queen with your pawn.
Oh. Right, like this?
Yeah. What? Bishop to H3?
I had a blunder? Why would I move my bishop up one?
I don't know, because it wouldn't be protected. Why wouldn't the queen just take it? Why would that be a blunder?
I want me to move my bishop here?
Yeah.
Because then the queen would take it.
Yeah. With no repercussion. Why would you do that?
I do not know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't see that one. I don't see why that's a blunder. I'm sure, like, I'm not doubting the computer, but I don't see it.
The best move indicator is operating on 7 moves ahead. Do not think you should be playing at best move till your rating is like 1900 plus. Probably
There you
not.
go.
Thank you. I am a beginner. 7 moves ahead? That's bonkers.
Well, and this is what I was telling you. It's like sometimes it'll tell you things and it's like it's thinking way far ahead and you just can't do that. Especially at this level of play where it's like he'll just move a random piece and you go, why did he move that piece? And nobody knows.
For real. Is that a went on this rant? Oh, he thinks it should have settings.
He's a pretty famous, very high level. I think he's a grandmaster. I'm pretty sure he's the one on
Hikaru
Twitch.
Naka? Did I
Yeah.
say that right? Hikaru Naka? It's a fun name. It's very alliterate. Alliteration, like it sounds pretty when you say it. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah,
Grandmaster, 5-time
UFC
US
champion.
champion.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, at least he thinks it's BS too. Got to start somewhere. Okay. So he just moved his queen back.
I see the validity in moving your bishop now that the queen's out of the way.
Moving my bishop here?
Yeah, because that pawn is completely open. The E pawn, the E6 pawn.
Oh, right on. Okay. Oh, nope, that was a blunder.
Yeah, didn't like that either. That's hilarious. Oh, and then he moved to protect it. Smart move.
Like if any player makes 5 moves in a row that the computer calls best move, you're probably cheating. Because no player has beaten a computer at that setting in over 12 years. That's fair.
But at least you got that knight out of there.
Well, that's a castle move, right? That's what that is. That triple O.
Yeah, it wanted you to castle queenside. Which I don't know. Castling is again one of those moves that's probably smart for advanced players, but I don't know that it has a lot of meaning in low level play. I mean, I would threaten his queen again
With my pawn. What?
with your bishop, because the G file is protected by that pawn.
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Oh, that was another blunder. Still wants me to castle.
Really wants you to castle, but then you can keep threatening his queen.
Why wouldn't I? Should I just keep hopping? Correct. Castle once your rating is about, yeah, he's agreeing. Jared is
Yeah.
agreeing with you. Thanks, Jared.
When it's funny because like I've been watching a lot of like 2500 level play, and it's like there are things that happen that I don't understand. I don't get it. Like I would rate myself about like 500, and they do things, and I'm like, that's really cool. I don't know why, but it's neat.
So you think I should still chase this queen with my bishop?
I'd chase his queen. Like there just doesn't seem to be a downside to it because he's got this weird. No, not with that card, not with that one though, because you want to make sure that your pieces are protected. Nope.
You said my bishop.
I said your pawn.
So this pawn.
Because it's protected by your bishop.
So this is the move you want me to make.
Yeah. Because then he's got to move his queen again.
Oh.
Or take it, and then you get a free queen. Like.
Isn't that, but like, why would you want to give up your queen so easily?
I don't know. It's an excellent question.
And then move your king out. Like, what's the point in that?
He had to because you put him in check.
Oh, right on. Right. I forgot about that. The direct line with the bishop.
Bishops are always sort of funky, especially for new players, because it's really hard to think on diagonals.
Yeah, to see that.
Like innately. I still screw up diagonals all the time.
What?
Now I don't quite know what to do.
Mon Dieu, quelle erreur.
Get your pawns out there, I guess, just to free up some space. I mean, you just start having some fun with your rooks, I guess. They're sort of stuck in the corners still.
Oh, that was an excellent move. Thanks, computer. Oh, you think I should I go ahead and castle or just?
You could now, because the whole left side of your board is sort of locked up, and that would free your rook to the right side.
So I do it here or here?
To the C, because it moves your king over 2 and your castle to the other side.
Ooh, the castle move was excellent. But bishop to G3 was best.
Bishop to G3. Oh, because it wants you to set up for another check. I'm assuming.
G3. Oh, this bishop?
Yeah. Because I would bet it wants you to move him up
this
to
way.
3. Yeah. Yep.
So like that.
Probably not that third move, but putting him in H4 does put the king in check.
Oh well, it didn't do what I wanted.
It forces him to the left because he can't go to the right.
Right. Correct. Why move the bishop there?
Because you put him in check. Because it wants you to put him in check. Because it wants you to put pressure on the king. I feel like you need to get something in that back line to take care of those sort of random pieces. Because the pawns in the middle, you could also sacrifice a pawn just to open it up. I don't know that that's a good play, but
I don't want to sacrifice a knight.
no.
And all those moves.
You could move that knight. Yeah.
Over to F3?
Just to get him going, yeah.
Oh, bishop to G. It really wants me to move my bishop.
I told you, like it wants you to get
well,
him
when
up
this,
there.
but
but now the king moved, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he moved in the diagonal on the green.
Yeah, but your pawn is stuck.
Oh, right on.
There's a piece blocking it that literally can't go anywhere.
Right.
It's not a threatening move. Well, I don't know that it really does anything though. Oh, you could fork his.
Couldn't I do this?
Yeah, because that sets up a fork the following move between his bishop and his rook.
The computer said that was excellent.
Excellent.
But bishop, you still wants me to move my bishop.
Yeah, I remember. Bishop's fine.
I think that's funny. Like, no, move your bishop. No, I don't wanna.
Hey, move your bishop.
Oh, should
Don't
I
move
move?
your bishop. No.
What? You're very
Because now you can set up a fork between his bishop and his rook. His H file rook and his F file bishop with your knight. A fork meaning he's going to lose at least one of those two pieces to your knight. There's not boo he can do about it.
Where am I?
Oh yeah, no. See, this is why.
What?
She even saw it before I
Pawn
did.
takes knight if you do. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
but if I move it.
No, you're right. I got way too tunnel visioned.
I was like, but wait a minute. Yeah, pawn takes knight if you do. Yeah, because if I move this knight here, then that pawn can take.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could move your bishop out there. Why not? It really wants you to. I don't quite know.
So here?
Yeah, like unless you wanted to start setting up your rooks. Well, see, it still thinks that's what
He just shoved his bishop back.
And so now you can set your your bishop to take his knight for free, assuming he doesn't move anything else. Should be a pretty, even if he moves that rook, I think that's probably still a good trade.
Oh, you mean my H file bishop?
What piece can your H file bishop set up to take?
Guy right here?
Your H file bishop? Your light square bishop?
No. Oh, well, I just have to move him to here.
Yeah.
And now I can take his knight.
I'm assuming that's what it wants you to do, and that's probably what I would do, because I think a bishop for a knight is a good trade. And I didn't take it. What a weird.
I'm sorry, but does that, no, because he doesn't move in that direction, so his king is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could trade bishops. Nope, can't. Never mind. Shush it.
So I should move my my bishop back.
I don't know that there's a reason to.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No point in taking a pawn with a king right there.
You could force his rook out of there, because right now you can put him in check with your knight. And his only move, well, I guess not his only move.
Jared says
it might be his only move. It is his
him not taking bishop cost him game. Checkmate in 5.
Yeah, so
F7.
Jared's right. If you move your knight to set up the check
here,
how does that set up a check?
I don't know.
Where can you move the knight that sets up a check?
Well,
there's only one position he can go that sets up a check.
The yellow. No, because then it's in line with the rook.
It's also not a check.
I'm confused then.
You have to think about what areas a knight threatens. Because a knight does not threaten the adjacent spaces. It threatens over 2, up 1.
Oh, so so is that F7?
Yes.
You
So
did say
F7.
F7.
Yeah. So F7 threatens the king, which will put the king in check. That piece is guarded by your bishop.
Right.
So he has to take your knight.
7.
Oh, he doesn't have to. Well,
They just moved, so now I can't do anything.
I was expecting him to take your knight with his rook. What a strange move.
F7. Fork, take rook. His rook will likely kill your knight when you check him. Then take your bishop.
What he's saying is exactly what I was expecting to happen. I was not expecting him to just move his
king.
Because
then he's not in check anymore, right? Because my rook.
Well, he's not in check, and he's completely cut off his rook because now he can't move his rook because he can't move his king.
Right.
I mean, I guess he could move his king like diagonally, but this gives you a couple free moves. Yeah. Yeah, because right now.
Don't move your knight from F7 now. It's protecting my bishop. Okay.
Yeah, it's protecting your d-file bishop.
No, I don't want to do that.
So I
don't want to move her.
I mean, you could try to get some of the pawns out of the way or advance a rook. A weird position to be in.
Right. Now, why did he move his bishop there? Is his bishop guarding?
So the real question here is why not take the rook now? I know it's guarding the bishop, but I feel like sacking a bishop for a rook is a good trade. No?
What? Oh, you mean with my knight?
Yeah.
Well, with my knight, I could take the rook or the bishop.
Right, but the bishop is sort of not dead, but like if the bishop takes anything, like all of those squares are protected. But that rook is just sort of hanging out there.
Here?
Yeah, you should lose your bishop because of that, but I feel like trading a rook for a bishop is a good. Yeah, because then you can start pushing with your rook and your queen from the right.
So this is the move.
So I think that's the move. Computer certainly liked it. Yeah, now he's like running away with the king, but why wouldn't he just take? I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, so I'd either position one of your rooks or. Yeah.
What?
No, he didn't take the bishop.
Right?
This was very strange. Yeah, so I would position one of your rooks to just head towards that back file or that back rank. So position something in G to take that pawn. Well, you're gonna have to do a little bit of setup because I'm assuming you'll probably want to try to trade rooks.
Move the knight back to where it was?
Yeah, and just protect the bishop. Yeah. Yep. Nope, he's right. Because it's a very strong position, and now he just gave you his bishop and puts him in check. God, what a weird. This is the problem with playing with like low level computers is that they don't. Maybe next time we'll play a game again.
Okay.
Because it's just hard to predict. So just take his bishop.
My bishop only moves these directions.
No, take his bishop.
Sorry, yeah. I just saw it when you said it.
Because then it also puts him in check, and then he's doing this little dance with the king. Weird. And then you could just put your knight back, because then that re-protects the bishop. What a weird.
Then he moved his rook.
Weird game. Yeah. So now set up your rooks to head to the back line. So I would put one in the G file and just shoot it straight to the 7 rank.
and take that pawn.
Yeah. And then I would set up your other, I don't know that there's a reason to do it, but
Set up my other rook.
set up your other rook to the G file. What did it want you to do? Knight to G4? Knight to G5? Why?
Why?
That's a weird move. Anyway.
Okay.
So that's a good move.
The pawn?
Yeah, because then you can just get rid of that pawn. Oh,
Because then that opens up this pawn, right?
I would take it with the knight. Because it limits his, because now his king has to move.
You mean this
It's like
move?
only one place his king to move. Yeah, because it puts him in check both from the knight and the rook. Because I was like, well, he's just going to take your bishop, but he can't because he's in check, so he has to move. Well, he could take it with the king. Is he finally going to take it? Hey, there it goes.
Yeah. Then I move my rook back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then charge with your other rook. Oh, yeah, he wanted you to move your knight. That was probably a better idea.
Where am I moving my knight?
Well, just.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I didn't see the fork. Yep. Oh.
Parts.
Nope, he was right. I would push your. Oh, there you can get your queen up there. That's a good idea. Take his rook. Nope, you're on the wrong file. Aim for that pawn. Aim for the C file pawn with your queen. It's going to take one move of setup, and I'm assuming he'll probably move a pawn or something. Because you want to set up to take that
rook
C6 pawn.
Rook takes rook.
Oh, rooks! I didn't see that. Look at that, people paying attention. Yep. I am dumb. Don't listen to me. I would say use the knight, but it's not.
No,
I think you have to use the queen. Yeah.
Right.
You can set up your queen to D7, and then you can take everything with your rook.
So here?
Yeah. Well, the rook or the queen. Oh, that might be checkmate, though. Is that checkmate? Nope, not quite. I think it's checkmate in 2, though. Nope, not quite.
And when I move the queen back here, wouldn't that be check? I move the queen here? Yeah. Isn't that check?
It is. But I think it's a better move to take his bishop.
Oh, with the queen?
With the rook. Oh, hold on.
Queen to bishop.
Yeah, I don't think that's checkmate.
Farts.
Check. Because he's going to move his king to... But it's not a bad move. Like, there really isn't a bad move. 0. Shush it.
So the queen to bishop?
Oh, it totally is checkmate. Nope, he's right. He's right. Yep. Because A5 and C5 were protected by that pawn.
Yeah.
I was not watching the pawn.
2 mistakes, 3 blunders, 2 missed wins. Not bad. I will take it. Thank you, Jared, for your assistance in today's third running game. We're just a little over our regular time. We're usually here on Saturdays from 12 to 2. Diva has started streaming on Sundays from noon to 3, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So you can tune in tomorrow. I don't know. Are you still playing whatever?
I think we're switching to Sea of Thieves.
Tomorrow, Sea of Thieves.
Gumby's been feeling very piratey.
Army mateys. It's really lame. Had to happen. Anyway, yeah. So tune in tomorrow. back here on the Taculars, I won't be streaming, but Devo will be streaming Sea of Thieves with his buddy Skater Gumby. Anyone else tuning in with you guys to play?
Peaches might, depending on.
Yeah. So we use all our gamer names, right?
Yeah. Well, I actually don't know Peach's actual name. I've known this man for 3
3
years now, and I don't
years.
know his actual name.
Check. You are terribly clever.
Yeah, that was good.
Very nice. Very nice, Jared. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be at Pepper Plays again next Saturday from noon to 2, playing some more chess. Still digging this vibe. Maybe I should watch The Queen's Gambit. Everyone keeps telling me I should watch it. I've been watching home improvement shows. I don't know why. I don't own a home right now, so there's nothing I can improve. Anyway, I hope you guys have a safe week. Please make certain that you do all the things you can do to help stop the spread of COVID. I'm going to just my soapbox for a half a second or 5. And, wear a mask over your nose and your mouth, social distance, stay home, wash your hands. These are all simple things we can all do to help stop the spread of this horrible, deadly virus. And hopefully, you'll be able to get your vaccine soon. I won't be able to get one for a while because I am not in the right age group. But my folks will be getting a vaccine in the next couple of weeks because they are. So that's great. That's great for introverts of the world over. I'm like half introvert, half extrovert, so I'm doing just fine staying home all the time. Now and then I want to go out, but I don't. So yeah. So I hope everyone has a safe week wherever you are in the world, and thanks for tuning in.
Yay. Keeps people away. I agree.